In third lecture, we will discuss population samples and sampling techniques. What is sampling and sampling techniques? Today in lectures, what is population and samples? So, population, whenever we talk about the population is a huge amount of data, surroundings of data. Or we can say that population is a collection of elements which has some or other characteristics in common, and it is denoted by capital N. So entire set of individuals, measurements of objects, or all individuals are objects of interest that are under study. Next is what is sample. So sample is a representative part of the population. ER is a subset of population. A representative portion or part or chunk of the population, which is denoted by the small n. So sample is always subset of the population. It is also known as sampling. So selection of process of sample is called sampling. So sample size is denoted by the small n. We can see from the figures that it is the entire population, which is denoted by the green color, and this white spot is represented part of the, we can say that it's somehow represented part because it is not the whole population actual representation, so it is represented, we can say that samples. So sampling, a sample should have same characteristics as that of the whole population has. Sampling can be of two types, with replacement and without replacement. With the replacement, a member of the population may choose it more than once. We can call it picking the candy from the bowl, like that. So it is non-probabilistic sampling. With the without replacement, a member of the population may be chosen only once. That is called like lottery tickets, etc. So sampling methods based on the random just like the it's also called probability sampling. Each member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. Non-random, it is also called non-probability sampling. So non-random, we can, if we see this from figure, the random sampling, we can pick from any object or any elements or any individual, any characteristics from the whole population. There is no sequence or no arrangements or no systematic picking of the element. So in the non-random, we follow a specific format, ups and downs, or row wise or column wise. That is also called non-random probability. So random sampling methods, there are five methods of random samplings, like simple random, stratified, systematic, cluster sampling, and the lot multi-stage sampling. So these are the five general categories of sampling techniques. So we can use it with according to the situation. We discuss it one by one. Random sampling methods. First of all, we discuss the random sampling methods. In the random sampling method, the item is selected on the equal chance of being selected, or we can say it blind selection, also called blindly selected, because no one knows who will be the next selected selected of the, like lucky draws, etc. are the examples of the simple random sampling. Secondly, stratified sampling. So in the stratified sampling, we divide the whole data into small groups called strata and take a sample from each stratum. And we can say that the elements within the subgroups are homogeneous. And the second thing is, but no subgroup is heterogeneous too. We need to have prior information about the population to create the subgroups. So पहले से जानते हैं कि स्ट्रेटा हमने किस क्राइटेरिया को बेस पे हमने जो है वो लाइक दैट दिस इज द subgroup of red shirts, subgroup of blues, and subgroups of yellow colors. These are the three stratums. Stratum 1, stratum 2, and stratum 3. We select two atoms from this, two atoms from this, and one atom from this randomly. Random sampling methods. Third one is systematic sampling. In the systematic sampling, we randomly select a starting point and take every nth piece of the data from a listing of the population. यानी कि हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो पहला आइटम है वो हम रैंडमली सेलेक्ट करते हैं, देन उसके बाद एक क्राइटेरिया को फॉलो करते हुए हम नेक्स्ट और फिर हम नेक्स्ट जो है ना वो एक ख़ास स्पेसिफिक ऑर्डर से, ख़ास जंप से, ख़ास गैप से जो है ना वो nth पीस ऑफ डाटा फ्रॉम द लिस्टिंग ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन से हम जो है ना वो सेलेक्ट करते हैं. I can, you hope, select. So random sampling. Fourth, cluster sampling. Divide the population into the strata or in the cluster and then randomly select some of the strata. So cluster, we can see the words like clusters of the not and the homogeneous types. All members of these strata are in the cluster samples. So this is cluster of red, cluster of green, cluster of yellows, etc. And only out of these 5 cluster we select only randomly 3 clusters of red one, green, and that are of pink ones. Random sampling methods at the last is multi-stage sampling. It is the combination of we have discussed already that it can be of at any stage random sampling, at any stage stratum created, at any stage clusters are created, and then the samples are taken. So it is combination of all. So that's all for today.